If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
What's the biggest misconception people have about being in Oregon, or being in Utah, sorry. Being in Utah and being around it. You always hear stereotypes about Utah, and it's like, what's the biggest misconception you think that people have about that?
I mean, obviously the biggest thing is going to be the Mormon people, you know, and the Mormon culture, and you know, the more I travel around, the more I learn about different cultures and different people. I mean, going from Utah to Baltimore is a completely different place. I mean, it's very diverse here. It's a lot of different cultures. You know, in Utah, it's pretty much, you know, middle-class white people. That's pretty much all it is. You know, and you come out here and you experience different foods, you know, different types of people, different cultures. I mean, it's just really cool. You know, I really like it. But Utah, it's a lot of great people, you know, and the Mormon people have a lot of different things you'll hear about them, and most of them aren't true. They do live their religion very strictly. I mean, a lot of them don't drink. A lot of them, you know.
Do they drink? Like, we hear they don't drink soda. Is that?
That's not true at all. I mean, a lot of things like that you'll hear are not true at all. If you've ever, you know, been around Todd Heap or Haloti, John Beck, I mean, who now plays for DC. I mean, Pitta, yeah. I mean, these are cool guys. If you just met them on the street, you would never have any idea they're Mormon. So, I mean, just a lot of great people there. That's what I would say. That's one of the main things people are confused about. They don't know much about the religion, but I mean, it's just another Christian denomination that has a little bit of confusion to it, but it's a lot of great people who, you know, who are just a little bit more extreme when it comes to their beliefs.
Yeah, you come from like a completely different background. You know what I mean? Like you're multi-ethnic yourself. I mean, you have a whole different sort of, to see a guy like Paul coming in and getting around everybody. Is it cool to sort of be able to talk to guys like that? Things like
yeah, I mean, I talked to Paul. I'm like, oh, you know, what's about, you know, how are Mormon people? What do they do in their culture? What's accepted? What's not accepted? And he tells me all kinds of different things, and I learn, you know, like, oh, do they have multiple wives and this and that? He's like, oh, not really. That was back in the day. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not moving there after all. But he teaches me all kinds of things. And then he taught me what a Jack Mormon was, and it's just, you know, all these different terms, things I never heard of before, you know. And to be able to come up to a young guy, and you know, I'm an older guy, a veteran player, and to come up to him and learn something from a young guy, try to learn something new from every young guy that's on the team, he really taught me a lot. So not only does he, you know, make the team better, but also he brings a lot of value and culture and beliefs and ideas to the team as well. So it's always cool when you can have a young guy that can contribute instead of having some young guy that doesn't really have much to say, and you're like digging and trying to learn and trying to find something. But you just talk to Paul for a few minutes and you'll get some good information out of him.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, B.A., a few weeks ago you mentioned how Harbaugh really instills that sense of family within the organization, invites the kids to come out, the families to come out. When you have so many personalities on a football team, different parts of the country, different religious beliefs, different ethnicities, all of that, how nice is it to have a head coach who just creates that sense of family that, hey, we're all different and that's great, but we're all in this together. How much does that bring you together even closer as a football team?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Like, you know, Paul's got a huge family, so whenever Paul's family's in town, you'll see all of Paul's brothers and sisters and their kids and his dad and his mom, and they'll be at the game or they'll be at the facility having lunch, or Heloti's family, or, you know, I'll bring my family to the facility, or Ed Dixon will bring his family to the facility in San Diego, or my brother's always in the locker room and around, and it's the main thing that we're built on. The foundation is family, and family comes first. And when you know that if you have to leave because something happened to a family member, like Tendon Doss had an emergency in his family, he had to leave, you know that it's going to be okay, that you can leave and you're not going to lose all this work and all this hard effort and all these things that you know, try to build every day to get better, and then all of a sudden you have a family emergency, you have to leave. It's not going to destroy your team relationship because we put family first. So it just makes things easier. I've been on teams, you know, when I was in Miami with Coach Saban, I had a child during training camp, and he's like, oh, you're not going to miss a game, or it was a preseason game. I'm like, no, I'm not going to miss my child's birth. That's what I'm not going to miss. If I have to miss a preseason game, I have to miss it. And eventually, you know, 5 days after my child was born, I was traded to the Bears, you know. So it's good to be on a team where the coach puts family first. It makes your job so much less stressful. And then not only do you get to share your team with your family, you get to share your family with the team, and it just builds everything. So it's pretty cool.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.